What's up, guys? It's Victoria from Under Victoria's Spell, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite tropes in books ever, and that is reverse harem. I am a sucker for some reverse harem romance novels, so I'm going to be talking about a few of them today, and I am so excited to talk about all these amazing stories that are just completely out of the norm of your day-to-day romance novel. So let's just hop right into these reverse harem recs. Okay, so my idea of reverse harem is just like a romance that is not your typical quiet girl who falls in love with an alpha male. She just does different things that you just normally wouldn't see. And this first book that I'm going to talk about is probably like the number one. Like, if I think of reverse harem, this is the book that I'm going to think of. And that is the Risk series. It's in the Mine F series, but book one is The Risk by S.T. Abbey. I recently read this in September of this year, and it was so good. It had been on my TBR for so long because I really loved the premise of the book. It follows our heroine as she is getting revenge on the people that have done her wrong from her past. And she pretty much is a serial killer. That is how she is getting revenge. She is killing them. She is torturing them. And that's her whole life plan, is to just get revenge on these people that have done her wrong. But she meets a guy who is just very, very different, and it just so happens to be he is a FBI profiler who is investigating her case. And I thought this idea was so unique. I've never read this in a romance before. It definitely makes that angst really high, the suspense really high for her not to get caught, and for her to kind of have that inner struggle of, wanting to still have her revenge and her justice, but also fall in love with a man who is just trying to do his job and protect the public. So to intertwine these two people and their story together, it was so good. So if you're looking for like an action-packed romance, a serial killer romance where it is just like you are ready for our heroine to get the justice that she did not get from law enforcement in the past, it was so good. There's so many twists and turns throughout this series, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm so glad that I picked it up, and you definitely need to if you have not yet. So that's the first one. The next one that I read this year was also part of a reading vlog that I did, and that is, sorry, my dog's right here, I'm petting him. And that is The Never King by Nikki St. Croix. I thought this premise was so awesome. McKay from Oh Hey It's McKay talked about this series, and I had added it to my TBR. And this is kind of like a reverse harem Peter Pan Wendy retelling. I had never read a retelling of like a Disney story before. So this was definitely a darker turn on Disney. So good. This follows Wendy as she turns 18, and the women in her family have a curse who they always disappear on their 18th birthday, and they come back like insane, like crazy. They're never the same again. So she thinks that this is all a myth because she thinks her mother is crazy. But turns up on her 18th birthday, none other than Peter Pan shows up at her house to whisk her away to Neverland. And just from the beginning, the story intrigued me because our heroine was definitely not a dainty little princess, a damsel in distress. Like, she was very like, she's gonna do her own thing, but she was also so intrigued by this world of Neverland. I really loved it. She was so intrigued by Pan and also the Lost Boys that are there. And she might have some relationships with each of the men that are very important on this island. So good. Love the premise. The way the author described the, you know, scenery of Neverland, I was just so captivated by. It was really, really good. It makes you want to know why that she has been there, why she is there on the island, why all these women get kidnapped on their 18th birthday, and what is the connection to her family. Really good. I have read all the books except the last one that is going to come out next year. So really, really good. Pick it up if you love a dark retelling of Disney. You love, you know, a poly romance. It is definitely everything that you are looking for. And the next one I literally talk about in every single video, but I feel like if there is a book recommendation or a book series recommendation, this would be the one that I would have to talk about. It's going to be on my favorite books of the year, and that is Broken Bonds by J. Bree. Just read this whole entire series. I have just, you know, been consumed by this series. It is so good, and I talk about it a lot. So if you see me talk about this a lot, I'm sorry, but I have to recommend it. This series is so freaking good. I love it so much. This follows our heroine as she has been on the run for the last few years, and she is running away from sorry, it's my dog. It's probably gonna start barking. Hold on. Sorry, I had to get him a treat. He loves to look outside and bark at the neighbor's dogs. So, Broken Bonds. It follows our heroine as she's been on the run from these people that have been after her due to the abilities that she has. And not only has she run away from that life, she also is running away from the people that are fated to be with her, which are called bonds in this world. And she has 5 of them. And each of them are so different. Some of them are lovable. Some of them are funny. Some of them you literally want to strangle and be like, why do you act like this? But this series is so good because you just really want to understand what happened to her, why she is the way that she is, why she ran away from the people that are fated to be with her. And it kind of picks up with her being reunited with them so that they can kind of figure out their new normal. And she also cannot tell them why she has ran away from them because it would put their lives at risk. So good. Talk about angst with every single one of these alpha males in her life. It is so freaking good. I love the angst of it. And I also think this has a really good foundation of friendship. If you're looking for books that have a really strong friendship with main characters who kind of like they turn each other into their family because they don't have any, so good. I really enjoyed that aspect of it as well. There was lots of action. I read the first book in one sitting because I had to know what was going to happen. So good. Please pick up the series. The last book just came out at the end of October, and you can just start the series from beginning to end, and it is so good. The next book I'm going to talk about is my recent read, which I talked about in my November mid-month wrap-up, and that is American Queen by Sierra Simone. This was definitely an unexpected read. I honestly didn't know if I was going to like this because it kind of dealt with like politics and gave me like Gossip Girl vibes, and I was like, I have no idea if I'm going to like this because like I wasn't a big fan of Gossip Girl, but boy was I wrong. This book was so good. I'm currently listening to the audio of Booktuber right now, and I'm really enjoying it. But this follows our heroine, and she has kind of grown up in the political world, and so she knows a lot about this world. So she meets this guy at a party, and they have a 10-year age gap. He is 10 years older than her. It's kind of like a forbidden romance, but she is just ready to go for it anyway. And lo and behold, it kind of goes back from the past to the present. In the present, he is the president of the United States. So there's that tea in itself, and they're kind of like star-crossed lovers, wrong place, wrong time, all that stuff. So she meets another guy, and she realizes this is guy number one's for like his best friend in the entire world. And so when you go to present day, he is the vice president of the United States. So she has fallen in love with the two most powerful men in the United States. Finn, he just doesn't want me to film my video. But it is their romance all together. It is an MMF romance. It is so good, and I just was consumed by this entire series. And the last book that I'm going to talk about today for reverse harem romance novels is actually another book that I read for the Twisted and Taboo readathon that was in September, and that is Lords of Pain. This book was so good. McKay from Oh Hey It's McKay also recommended this, and it is a bully college romance. It is definitely reverse harem. You have the whole menage aspect of it. This book starts out with our heroine growing up with her really mean stepbrother. And something happens between her and her stepbrother and his two best friends that kind of causes her to fall off the face of the earth until they are in college. And pretty much on this college, her stepbrother, which is kind of our reverse hero, is what I like to call them. They are part of this secret society, group on campus where they require a lady, which will serve them the entire year while they're in college. Will do anything and everything for them. And pretty much our heroine shows up on their doorstep because she is in need of some safety, because she has a stalker after her, but she cannot tell them that. So they think that this is just a cat and mouse game between all of them. It is angsty. It has that suspense in it because of her stalker. You are just kind of consumed by their past with each other, the future with each other, and what they deal with every single day. This is definitely a dark romance. It is bully romance. It is crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I have yet to pick up the rest of the series, but book one really is so good, and I really love how the heroine didn't back down from these men. She kind of was like, I'm here, I know what I want, and I'm going to get it. So good. But those are 5 reads that are reverse harem to my definition. Loved these books, thought they were so good. I really hope that you will pick up some of these books because I really enjoyed them. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys again on Friday. Bye.